I'm Blaine Carter, and together we're going to be exploring the what, why, and how of open source technologies. Howdy. In a previous video, linked in the description below, I walked through how to get your Oracle CodeCard connected to your Wi-Fi. And as part of that video, I explained how to configure the fingerprint setting that you can use to secure the connection from your code card to the API in the background. Now, security should always be a top concern, but in this case, if you're not planning to transmit sensitive information to and from your code card, and you don't really feel like updating the fingerprint information whenever the security certificate gets updated, you could just disable a security check altogether. And so in this video, I will walk through an example of how to modify the Arduino sketch so that you won't need to bother with fingerprint anymore. All right, now, so before you get started, please pause here and go to the blog post linked in the description that will walk you through how to clone the repository and review the prerequisites. Make sure you follow those along, and then come back and pick up here. Now that you've got the repository cloned or downloaded, let's open it. You'll go to File, oops, there we go, File, Open, and you should find this under the CodeCard repository that you downloaded, Arduino CodeCard. You'll find this CodeCard INO file. That will open this. We can get rid of that. Let me move that to where you can see it. There we go. And then that opens the project. And then one change we do need to make from the prerequisites is if you want to go into the boards, go into the board manager, search for ESP, and find this ESP8266 driver that's installed, and select the version 2.52 and install that. Once that's installed, you can close the board manager, and time for some code changes. All right, the file we need to change is http client.h. So let's jump over to that file, and we're going to scroll down to line 74. And so line 74, do some copy and paste here. I'm going to change from the Wi-Fi client secure to a bare SSL Wi-Fi client secure. And then we're going to roll down to line 102, and we're going to add client.setInsecure. What this is going to do is this will make it so that even though we're connecting to an HTTPS API, it will ignore the security check. Once again, security is important, but in this case, we're not transmitting anything sensitive, so it's okay. All right, after that, we're going to go down to line 112 here, and we're going to comment out this check here. What this check's doing is this is comparing the fingerprint that we upload into the card to the fingerprint coming from the site to make sure they're the same. Since we're not doing that anymore, we'll take out that piece of code. Then we'll go down to line 152, and we're going to uncomment this piece here. Let's make that pretty. We're going to switch from AXTLS Wi-Fi secure client. We can comment that out, and we're going to use a bare SSL client like we did above to take care of that. And then down here on line 176, we're going to add secure client.setInsecure just like we did up above to disable the security check. And finally, we want to go to line 186, and we'll comment out the fingerprint check here. There's two different functions that make calls. So the first part of this, we changed the first function, and then we changed this function, and basically did the same thing in both functions. But with those changes, let me double check my notes. Yep, with those changes, that should disable the security check and the fingerprint compare. Before we push that up to the card, I want to make a couple little minor changes. In the future, you might want to, for example, change the REST API that gets called when you hit the buttons. And right now, the size of the array to hold or the size of the string to hold that URI is limited to 100 characters, and so I'd like to make that just a little bit bigger. So first, we'll jump over to memory.h, and we'll go down to line 18. And you can see here it's set to be 100 characters. We're going to change that to 200. And then we'll roll down to line 46. Same change there. We're going to set that to 200. And finally, we'll jump over to Wi-Fi.h. And we will go down to line, there it is right there, line 7. And we'll change that to 200 characters as well. We'll save all of our changes, and if your card's hooked up to the see the little USB cable there, like mine, just quick double press the two buttons at the same time. It should flash and go into the Oracle mode, and then switch over to the programming mode. And once it's in there, hit this little upload arrow, and this will compile the sketch and upload the new firmware to the card. So we'll just watch real quick for any errors. All right, looks like it's uploading, so I'm going to speed up the video at this point so that you don't have to sit here and wait for it to finish. All right, that's all done and pushed up to the card, and so at this point you should be able to go ahead and use your card without having to worry about the security certificate changing in the future and having to mess with the fingerprints. And it opens up to be able to do a few other things, making that URI a little bit larger. And so if you run into any problems, of course it all worked on my machine, so if you run into any problems, go check out that blog post, and at the bottom of the post there should be a troubleshooting section that covers a couple issues that I've had with different cards. Hopefully it all works for you first try, and it will make your code card a little bit easier to use for you in the future. And then hopefully this was helpful, and as always, if you like this video, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel. And if there's anything I can do to help, leave a comment either here or on the blog post, and thank you for spending your time with me.